Okay, my friends, I threatened you with this, and now you're going to get it. I get bulletins from everybody. I'm signed up for all kinds of alerts and so forth. This is called Science Alert. And every day they come out with new stuff. And I got some other channels that we're going to get involved. And I have a ton of friends that are deeply involved in certain areas and get all of that news. And a lot of that just gets fluffed over. But it comes to me. So I will present it to you as news. Now, this is about this latest development. They can actually watch the fetus develop in real time. Now, we're not going to go too deep into this. They're using quail eggs or something. Well, yeah, they're using quail eggs. And the imaging offers insights into congenital birth. Now, I'm going to show you what this is. I've got the sound turned off. And this is how they develop. Now, researchers have made transgenic quail embryos to see, and the actin exoskeleton gives cells their shape and allows movement. All right, a fluorescent protein. Here, hold on a second. Okay, my friends, I have been talking about life and what creates life and how does life develop and where does life come from in the first place and what is the particles of life and can we see life evolving or doing something? And yes, now we can. And I have shown the immune cells by this guy Gokul at UC Berkeley, showing them going around scooping up, I believe, were the ribosomes and then shooting out into the fluid-filled highway. First time that's ever been seen. Now, the same thing with this. Now, these are quail eggs, and they're trying to understand this transgenic embryos and how they develop and what affects their development. Now, I'm just going to read you what it says here because there's no sound. It just has music. Now, inside the actin cytoskeleton, the outside, gives cells their shape and allows movement. So the skeleton lets all of this stuff move together as a sheet, is the way I'm seeing it. All right, the actin cytoskeleton gives cells their shape and allows movement. So they can, but they still stay glued together. That's the key. In my opinion, they still stay glued together. They have to. All right, so now they're forming. Now, it says a fluorescent protein binds to actin, so we can see cells moving like these on the surface of the head. All right, the head of what? I'm not sure what. Oh, on the surface of the head of this quail. All right, you see how they're just glued together? They stay glued together. Now, heart cells extend protrusions to grab and move. So the heart cells are coming out with their, I believe it would be the muscle fibers. They're growing out and getting ready to do the pumping. And someone mentioned, and which is true, that a heart is nothing more than like a big rubber band, and it tangles in backwards and comes out around like that. And as it pumps, it does both things at the same time. All right, so this is the heart muscle, and they can grab and move. Now, the protrusions allow cells to grasp onto surfaces or reach other cells to pull them closer together. Those are muscle fibers. That's what they're talking about. Sarcomeres. All right, so they pull closer together. That's what a muscle does. Now, there's this thing called the neural tube. All right, what is a neural tube? It develops into our brain and spinal cord. So the whole brain is a big ball, and then coming out of it is a whole batch of nerves. So you got a big ball up there as your brain, and here's all your nerves. Well, when the fetus is developing, that's split in two. And it has to be, well, I'll just show you what happens. The neural tube develops into our brain and spinal cord. Here's the neural tube. So it's a tube. It's like a shaft getting ready to get work done. Now, you see the little sparks here? The open edges of the neural tube are zipped. They're zipped up to form a cylinder shape, so it makes a tube in there as it comes down. It just zips it together. So to think about this correctly, there's a shape like this. All right, there's a shape like this. And originally it starts like this. And then it gets zipped together like that. Zip, 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 going right down. So that's what's happening here. All right, zip. And every time you see a spark, it's making almost like welding. It looks just like the guy's welding. I mean, it does to me. Now, so we just saw it getting welded. Now, what do we have here? Investigating these pathways in early development deepens our understanding of congenital birth defects. Well, why are they showing that? Is that a defect? All right, and how to avoid them in the future. Let's just talk about congenital defects. If it's, let me just put it this way, congenital, whatever you're going to attribute the cause to. In most cases, unless you have a defective gene from inherited, your genetic codes are going to be the product of enzymes. And you have to have the right enzymes. I mean, it appears that, most people are born fairly normal. They don't have any congenital defects and a lot of issues, but there are a lot of them now that are. And it's getting worse and worse. It's from what I'm hearing. Now, I don't know, I could be wrong, but there's a lot of kids are being severely affected by primarily gut issues, is what is the research is showing. And once their guts are bad, that changes all the chemistry in the body, because your gut changes everything with the bacteria. All right, what I just showed you is that neural tube is really this vagus nerve. All right, and it goes through the whole body. Your brain, your medulla oblongata connects to this. Now, this connects to virtually all your different organs, all your different senses, your eyes, your ears, your salivary glands, all your sex organs, the whole 9 yards is in that neural tube. And it also mushrooms out into the total brain and the brain stem and all that stuff. Now, if that is defective in the beginning, you got problems, because you're starting bad wiring, basically. All that stuff, you see all those different organs? All that, it controls everything. Let's just put it that way. There's no sense in playing games here. It controls everything in your body. And it does it by, pretty much your brain is sending the signals, but they go both ways. There's a lot to learn here. And most of it is because of your intestines are sending stuff into this highway. Your liver, your intestine, your stomach, your kidneys, your bladders, all your different glands, all that stuff is sending its secretions and its biology basically into this network. And it all works together elegantly, basically because of bacteria. I know it sounds crazy, but the bacteria make the ribosomes. You don't have the bacteria, you don't get the ribosomes. The ribosomes are what creates the enzymes. The enzymes are what creates all of this elegant chemistry. Thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of different chemicals are produced by bacteria. That's just the way it is. They produce ribosomes. The ribosomes are the enzymes. The enzymes are what make all of these building blocks happen, so we can build bones and muscles and tendons and teeth and all that. And they also are there to break down our food and kill invaders. That's what all of that bacteria does. Plus, it consumes all the waste in our body, carries it over to the trash, dumps it into the lymph nodes. The lymph nodes dumped into some organ and whatever. But all of these bacteria are shaking hands and doing things, and they all can communicate apparently. And there is literally tens of thousands of different species, and I think they got it up to right around 70% of the cells in your body are bacteria. Mine too, I hope. 70% of them, there's more bacteria in you than there is you in you. And on top of that, every one of those carries DNA, and that DNA makes ribosomes, and that DNA is a program, and we have also a program in our DNA. And guess how much our program contributes to the total microbiome of us, which is all the DNA that's in us. Because DNA creates things. For our DNA, it makes our fingers grow, and it makes a blueprint of how our bodies are built, first of all, so we don't get defects. You have the right DNA and you have the right materials, you're good to go. But if you don't have the right materials, because you don't have the right enzymes, you could have the right program, and it's not going to work. So this is a very elegant system, but it works very nicely when the bacteria in your gut does its job by breaking everything down, providing for you the materials by breaking things down, all right, and protecting you from things to try to invade that fluid-filled highway. Because these are all involved in like little tubes. They're just like little tubes. They're sequestered in that tube. You can't get in there to damage this. This is what it's all about, is the membranes. And if you don't seal that tube up correctly, that tube I was just showing you a second ago, the neural tube, if that doesn't seal up correctly, you're in trouble. And it's never going to be right until it's sealed up. And I don't know if they can actually see the seal is not correct. I don't know. Okay, my friends, get ready for this. This is about the vagus nerve. This is Physiopedia, and it's basically a learning place, a school. And they're talking about the vagus nerve serves as the body's superhighway carrying information between the brain, internal organs controlling the body's response in times of rest and relaxation. Let's just cut right down to the chase. This is this whole bundle here, as I showed you before, I think, is right here. This whole bundle is the vagus nerve. And it has to seam together to make that tube. And then inside the tube is all of these, basically like wiring. You can think of it that way. Now, this is the part that's the most important. And I know they know about it, and I know they think about it, but I don't know if they understand it at all. It says, the past decade has seen a paradigm shift in our understanding of the brain-gut axis. Well, they're not working on it the way they should, but they are right. The microbiota, the gut, and the brain communicate through the microbiota gut-brain axis in a bidirectional way. Involves the autonomic nervous system. Well, what is the autonomic nervous system? That's just stuff that just happens when your heart beats and you breathe and all that stuff. You don't have to, it's not a response to something. All right, the vagus nerve, the principal component of this parasympathetic nervous system, which does all the stuff in your body, is a mixed nerve. Now, it's composed of 80% afferent. That's mean 80% of the signals come in, and 20% efferent fibers go back out. So apparently there's more information flowing in to this nerve bundle than comes back out. All right, the vagus nerve, because of its role in interoceptive awareness, is able to sense the microbiota metabolites. Those are the things that are really the enzymes. Those are the metabolites. They do the chewing up of the food. So it's able to sense the microbiota metabolites through its afferents. Well, who's their afferents? Those are the 80% signals coming in. So it can sense what's out there. What do we got out there to work with? What metabolites do we have hanging around? And it comes into the afferents and says, we got so much lithium over there. We got half an ounce of copper over here, running a little low on iron, whatever it is. These all signals are coming in. Now, so it senses these molecules to transfer this gut information to the central nervous system, where it is interrogated in the central autonomic network and then generates a response. If something has gone low, it's sending out a signal saying, hey, go get this certain enzyme and break a few of them open down there, because we need some more of whatever that product has to be. That's what it's looking like to me. That's the bidirectional, you send me a request through these afferent signals, 80% of them. And I will send you back a message on one of these fibers to say, here's what you have to do. Contact so-and-so in this particular type of cell and have them turn on, one of the ribosomes. And that ribosome will do the job. Now, so it's transferring all this information. They think it transfers it through the gut somehow. I don't know how they think about it, but it's transferring it up to say, we need some enzyme activity. And either the bacteria have to go do something, and they're being instructed, or the cells in the cytoplasm, the lysosomes inside each cell, are somehow being instructed to turn on these certain ribosomes, because they can have up to 10 million of these ribosomes inside every single cell. So it's going to be a certain set of cells that have to respond to, the ones that are in your gut to gobble up the food, or ones that have a certain signature on it that will go kill a bacteria that's trying to invade you. But it's a two-way path. I'm getting signals coming in from everybody. 80% of them, all these signals are coming in everywhere. Oh man, what's going on? And then they figure out what to do. They send it back. But you got to have a lot of information before you can get your 20% going back. It really is. It's almost like gathering information and then respond to it. That's all it is. All right, this is hard to believe, and it is tragic. I just showed you about the gut-brain axis, and the microbiota are bacteria that create enzymes, and the enzymes do the chemistry. Not a single word about that in here. They say a cholinergic anti-inflammatory pathway has been described through the vagus nerve fibers, which is able to dampen peripheral inflammation and to decrease intestinal permeability. Well, why would you have intestinal permeability? It's thus very probably modulating microbiota composition. They think they have it backwards. The microbiota composition is causing all these issues. It's not that all these issues are causing the microbiota to go bad. The microbiota are not producing the enzymes to keep all these things under control. They're talking about stress. Stress inhibits the vagus nerve, has deleterious effects on the gastrointestinal tract. Stress. And on microbiota, it's involved in the pathology, gastrointestinal disorder, irritable bowel. It causes all these diseases, stress. Not a word about bacteria. A low vagal tone, you're not tight because you're loose. You don't have the gooey stuff is not being made. A low vagal tone has been described in irritable bowel and IBS patients, thus favoring peripheral inflammation. They're not the tight junctions aren't tight, loose. A low vagal tone instead of being tight, and stuff just flows through there. The exponential growth of evidence detailing the bidirectional interaction between the gut microbiota and the brain supports a comprehensive model that integrates the central nervous system, gastrointestinal, and immune system with this newly discovered organ. Now, they didn't just discover this vagus nerve. They could be talking about the interstitium, which is the fluid-filled highway. But it seems they're talking about the vagus nerve. I don't know. But anyway, now listen to how much they don't understand. Listen to this. Anti-inflammatory properties of the vagal nerve. Now, a low vagal tone is just weak. as assessed by heart rate variability, a marker of the sympathetic vagal balance, is observed in functional digestive disorders. It always comes down to digestive disorders, inflammatory bowel disease. It's not because of this that causes this, it's because this causes that. And it depends on what bacteria you're missing. You know, but you're going to have some gut disorder, and one of the bacteria you're missing is going to be one that does something to give you some sticky, gooey stuff to give you a nice, tight vagal tone. Well, it's gone. So it sort of flops around. And then you're open to invasion. Now, to restore a normal vagal tone appears a goal in such diseases. Yes, but you have to have the enzymes. And you have to have the enzymes, you have to have the bacteria. Among the therapeutic tools, such as drugs targeting this system and or complementary medicines, which is hypnosis and meditation, deep breathing, physical exercise, you need the bacteria, you need the enzymes. Oh my God. Vagus nerve stimulation, they want you to either invasive or non-invasive, appears as innovative. We can try some of this and see what happens. There's new evidence supporting the role of vagal nerve in the modulating of gastrointestinal functions. Yes, it's the bacteria. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Okay, the whole thing, there's not a single word. They're talking about the gastrointestinal tract over and over and over, and the gut-brain interaction, and not a single word about the bacteria and the enzymes that are free-floating in here, the ribosomes. Those are the things that do all the work, not a word about them. So they're going, just guessing, basically. They're literally just guessing. You see this? I've been talking about Earth being a corpse, just like Jesus Christ said. He said the Earth is a corpse. Chemistry discovery on Mars hints at origins of life on Earth, like a fossil of a whole planet. They're finally starting to realize this is all true. Okay, like I said, they just slammed me with things. This is chemistry discovered on Mars hints at the origins of life on Earth. This is going to be the next one. And because I've been talking about Mars, it has biology on it. And I can show that biology, and I will. So we've gone over the vagus nerve, we've taken all of that stuff. But the next one from my MU News is going to be the discovery of Mars and life. So stay tuned to the next one. All right, I love you all. It's just going to be the news of the day, and we'll examine it and think what it means, if it means anything, or if they're right or they're wrong. But I'm going to show you what they have to say, and I'll show you what evidence I have to present. That's how I'm going to be doing these news clips.